Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 18 college or gold standard college basketball podcast. We are your
Yes,
hosts.
sir.
I'm Big Papa. That's Bobby Hoops. Hoops, how you feeling today?
Cold.
Yeah.
I think it was, I woke up this morning and it was -1 degrees in beautiful Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Yeah, wasn't that much different down in Powell. God's country. That's trademarked, by the way. If you're going to use it, just put a T in beside it. Yeah, I didn't really sleep last night. One, because Lucy kept waking up like every 2 hours, so that was awesome. And two, I legitimately was just sitting there worried, like, are my water pipes going to bust at any
Yep.
moment?
Power's gonna go out, water's gonna bust.
Yeah.
I do
So,
love snow though. It was fun playing in the snow.
yeah.
I've I've shoveled my driveway. That took a long time. I've chopped a lot of firewood.
Word was, did
But
you?
you know where it's not cold is on the hardwood, baby.
No, no, it is not. The sneakers are squeaking, baby. We are lighting it up. It's conference tournament time. Hey, what I was going to ask though, somebody, at least a very loyal listener, kept asking though, did you chop wood shirtless in the snow?
No.
Okay, just wanted to
No,
make.
that like I don't know how good that would be for my health, for other people's eyes. So no,
Yeah,
I kept my sweatshirt and jacket on. Like I said, it is 1 degree
yeah. I just kept thinking,
here.
like, sure, if he wants hypothermia, like, go for
Yeah,
it.
my
Maybe
wife
not.
explicitly wanted me to put more clothes on. So that's where I'm at.
Hey, folks, sorry it's been such a long break, almost a month since we last recorded. But as
Mhm.
we were chit chatting before we even hit the record button, that winter right before Christmas break time, it's just kind of slow and dead when it comes to ball games. Like everybody's got a week and a half long break for games. So really, I think everybody probably had like one non-con game left, and your guess is as good as mine as who your team played. Couldn't like Kentucky played Illinois State, took care of business. That was it. I don't even know who Tennessee played. Dude,
A Norfolk State,
yeah,
and
but
handled business there. Yeah.
that's all that matters. So, without further ado, some would say, but outside of the college basketball tournament itself, this might be our favorite time of the year. It's conference tournament time, baby. Like 2 games a week. It's high intensity basketball every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
Yep.
Man, you can't get enough. There's basketball on 24
Yeah.
7, folks. If you don't like it right now, I guess I wonder if you even love college basketball. But
It's easy to hop in late February, March, come March Madness time. That's why we do this.
yeah,
But
everybody does.
man, the calendar turns over to January, new year, conference play starts. Ooh, it's fun.
And
It's fun.
it is a lot of fun, and especially in the SEC when at this point, I think it's fair to say we're probably looking at like 8 to 9 teams from the league getting
Mhm.
into the tournament. So that makes it all the more exciting to know when your respective team is playing somebody else, it actually is helpful for their resume building purposes going in. If
Yeah.
whether they win at home, protect home court, if they get a win on the road, it helps out. I mean, there's only like really two teams, maybe three, that you're like, you should win. If you lose to them,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing. But we're really, guys, we're just talking about Vanderbilt and MIDzoo. So
Yeah.
that's kind
Yeah.
of so. Hey, just to kick it off, has there been any team so far that's not Kentucky or Tennessee that has stood out to you? Or maybe we might have the same team.
Well, right now it is really hard to not, at least if we're talking SEC, I mean, Auburn right now. I mean,
Yeah.
they've won 9 straight, and every single one of those wins has been by double digits. I think the closest win in that span was a 11-point win over A&M last week. Now, have they played? I don't think a single team they've played is ranked, but hey, 9 wins is 9 wins, and they're crushing everybody. Um, Crushed Arkansas at Arkansas. Like I said, handled business against A&M and beat LSU by 25. Auburn's looking real good right now. They've got Vanderbilt this weekend, so or that's tonight, excuse me. So it's probably going to be 10 in a row, probably.
Yeah.
And then they get into more of the meat of the SEC schedule. But off the bat, hard to say anybody else but Auburn. They've just been kicking butt.
Yeah. For a split second, I kind of wanted to say either Ole Miss or South Carolina, but as we had talked about in previous episodes and off to the side, we had wondered, is that a little fluky? Are you for real? And then what happens? Ole Miss travels to Knoxville. Oof, not good.
Yeah, got whooped.
Yeah, not good. And then
But I do think the teams, Carolina, Ole Miss, Georgia, like I do think there's meat on that bone there. That those teams are clearly better, and a lot
yeah,
of that's been coaching and getting new guys. I mean, even we'll get into it more, but I mean, Tennessee's game against Georgia over the weekend. I mean, that was a different looking Georgia team than I've seen in a long time. And kudos to Mike White coming over from Florida. Brother of our AD Danny White. He's I don't know if I'd say turn them around, but they're a good team. They almost had us over the weekend. So
yeah.
there's a number of these teams on the top half of the SEC standings that aren't usually up there, and I think are for real for the most part. Maybe not a top contender, but they're legit.
Yeah, I think out of say Georgia, Ole Miss, and South Carolina, you're probably looking at. I think of those teams, they're probably battling for like fourth and fifth place.
Hmm.
Wouldn't be shocked if one of them maybe slips. If I had to take a guess at this point, I'd probably roll the dice on South Carolina. That's a little
Yeah,
bit
me too.
based off of last night. They played Georgia. Georgia took one on the road in Columbia.
Yeah,
And South Carolina's really just got Michi Johnson. What's his name? Michi.
yeah.
But he's one of the starting guards. He probably averages close to 20 points a game. I mean, he's for real. There's no denying that. But that's just kind of my like, all right, let's wait and see what on that team right there. Because like you said, they'll get into their tougher games. They're kind of getting the quad two games out of the way before they hit their Q1s in the
Yeah.
next couple weeks. But yeah, I think it's hard to dismiss Auburn's probably the most impressive so far. A little shocked they're not even ranked in the top 10
Yeah.
how they're playing at the moment. But I don't know. I mean, AP polls just a number. Like, especially in January.
Yeah. It is a little weird with how many of the top 25 teams lost last week. I mean, I think there was some stat about like the number 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11, 13, like everybody was losing last week. So you can't really move around everybody too much if everybody lost.
Right.
Um, but yeah, there's all kinds of funkiness that goes into the AP top 25.
Yeah, I used to get worked up about it, but like at the end of the day, kind of like just play as best you can when you get to March. You'll get the seed line that you deserve. And at that
Yeah.
point, like when everybody's in, you're in it. It doesn't really matter if anybody hasn't picked up on the randomness of the tournament. Like
Mhm.
every game's going to be different. But that's a little bit of what we were noticing, at least over the last couple of weeks. So kudos to Auburn.
Hey, if you're an Auburn fan and rankings do matter to you, I just quickly pulled up um, the Ken Palm ratings.
Yep.
Ken Palm is Ken Pomeroy, who is I guess he's just a basketball journalist. I don't even fully know his whole backstory, but
I think
he
so.
has his own website with his own rankings, and he's heavily respected in the college basketball world. He has Auburn rated 5 right now, so kudos to Auburn. Ken Palm thinks you're good.
Yeah. And kudos to KD Johnson. Don't really know
Yeah,
how he's still there. Whatever.
I know everyone probably says that about half of the players on Tennessee, but yeah,
KD
I'm tired of
Johnson's
looking at
just,
Keldon Johnson.
just the biggest juice guy on that team, but it's like, I didn't think you'd get fired up like over a jump ball as big as you did. You're up 20 points. You're acting like you got a jump ball with 30 seconds left and the game's tied. Cool. So be it. Maybe it's just if KD Johnson was playing at Kentucky, I would probably feel different.
Oh,
But
sure. That's a guy you want on your team and you hate when he's on the other team.
yeah, it's just a little goofy. That's all.
Sure.
Hey, how about let's transition to talk a little bit of vawlz. What you want to harp on for what you noticed the last couple of weeks. If you want to touch on just the Georgia game, if you want to talk about what happened last night, or what you're hoping for moving forward into the weekend, what you got?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, heading in with the start of SEC play, for the most part, I've liked what I've seen from us. We're 3-1 in the SEC so far. Handled Ole Miss. I mean, just absolutely kicked their butt. Kicked Florida's butt last night. So those were two just easy, fun to see games. Georgia over the weekend, that was a weird game for us. We started out really hot, hopped out to a 14-point lead, totally blow it, totally just choke away that lead. Georgia played great. They were 14 of 33 from three. I mean, just shot lights out in that game, and had a lot more energy, hustled. I mean, just ran up and down the court on us. And they hopped out to an 11-point lead, and so I was not impressed. At least in that kind of the last 10 of the first half and the first 10 to 11, 12 of the second half. We didn't look great. And then, man, something happened because we put the clamps down on defense, and Dalton Connect is just, I mean, I'll probably spend a decent bit of time talking about the week he's had. But, on the road, DK with 36 points in that game. I mean, it was impressive. The Vols finished that game against Georgia on a 21-4 run in the last 4 minutes. So, I mean, that was just like, Georgia's good. They're for real. They took it to us. But that is a veteran team that is a better coached team, a better, that was a veteran good team being like, we're better than this. We're better than you. We're putting the clamps on you on defense. They put that full court press on that's worked pretty well for us in spurts this season. And then DK just went crazy in the second half. So that was impressive. I'll just keep talking about DK because I've got a few stats on him because he has been. I mean, in the last like 2-3 weeks, he had 28 against in the loss at Mississippi State, 36 against at Georgia over the weekend, and last night for a career high 39 against Florida. Few stats on him here that I found here. Oh, bad radio, bad radio.
It's our show. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right.
Want silence? We can have silence.
Anyway, there was some things about that. He is the only other player that Rick Barnes has ever coached that has had back-to-back 35-plus point games. The only other player Rick Barnes has ever coached that's done that is Kevin Durant. So that's incredible company. The last SEC player who's had back-to-back 35-plus point games is Shaq. So, I mean, right off the bat, like we're in pretty. It's impressive what he's doing right now, and he can score from anywhere on the court. He can get to the hoop. He can shoot free throws. He's got a great mid-range game, and he's been lights out from three. I mean, he can score from all levels of the court. He has been incredible. And we were in a group text last night. I was talking about how I really think he's the best offensive player we've had in 30 years here. And I mean, and that is no disrespect to Grant Williams or Admiral Schofield or Chris Lofton. Like those guys are in, the Mount Rushmore of Tennessee basketball for most people. And a lot of that has to do with the amount of years they were here and the connection that all three of those guys had with the fans. Obviously, Connect's only going to be here 1 year, and he's going to have to, continue to play special and take this team on as deep a run into March Madness that we've ever been on for Connect to kind of enter that area of, I think, Vols fandom, just with him only being here 1 year, because he's an NBA player. I mean, he just like, I can't remember the last time, probably Grant and Admirals last year, but even then, I mean, Grant Williams has, if you follow the NBA at all, his game has completely changed from how he played in college to how he's played in the NBA. But Connect looks like an NBA player right now,
100%.
and it's incredible, and it's such a game changer for us. So overall, I mean, those are all the goods for me. I mean, I think the Mississippi State loss, that was, I can get more into that later. But I thought maybe we'd talk about the goods first, and then maybe we can flip flop and come back and talk about the negatives. Because I guess the other two things I could quickly say is that Ziegler looks like he's finally at 100%. He has played great. He looks like the bona fide leader of the team out there. He's scoring in bunches, lots of assists. He occasionally has his games where he turns the ball over too much. I think he had 6 turnovers in the first half of Georgia. So outside of that, he has been phenomenal. And then Jonas Adu is I mean, he has improved mightily coming into this year. His touch around the rim, his rebounding, he's able to step out to 8 to 10 feet and hit the jump shots and blocking shots. He has played awesome. Those three, DK, Ziegler, and Adu, are carrying us right now, and they've the three of them have been awesome for us. So
I like it. The three-headed monster.
yeah,
But yeah, I like what you were talking about. Like, let's talk some like good stuff that's happened over the last couple of weeks, and then we can dive into bigger thoughts if we've got any worries, whatever. I'll chime in on the Cats. So they handled their business against the Illinois State Redbirds. That was the Big Tone game.
yes,
For those who didn't know, Antonio Reeves, who I affectionately refer to as Big Tone, and lead personnel of the Big Tone fan club. That's where he transferred in from, Illinois State. He quietly was just the head dog in their conference at Illinois State, and really glad, one, Cal got him to transfer, and two, kept him after this past season. There was a lot of scuttlebutt that he was looking to head out somewhere else, whether it's go to the league a little bit early and just kind of roll the dice on himself, or see if there was another school to come after him. Yeah, Big Tone handled his business, 27 points, 10 of 15 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3-land. That's where DJ Wagner kind of started to pick up and show his business for, not just being a freshman, but this All-American top 10 high school recruit status of, okay, we've been waiting on the engine to get rolling. It's just kind of been sputtering for the last couple of games, outside of some moments where DJ's big thing is he's a downhill driver guy. So getting to the rim for him is naturally pretty easy. But he's starting to show his game off by a little check up, pull back from 3-land. That's great. Has a little bit of a hitch in his shot when he goes from 3, but it's starting to build confidence, as at least from I watch, when I think it used to be like, oh, please don't. Okay, cool. Now I'm like, you got the shot, pull it. I feel good. Especially in moments where I'm like, I did not see DJ trying to step back from 3 in a dude's eye and just drain it. It's like, oh, okay, you were feeling a lot confident versus you're wanting to take it left, even though it's funny. He's dominant right-handed, but loves to drive left. I don't know if I've seen that in a basketball player before, but
John Wall's kind of that way, right?
A little bit, yeah. I think there's.
I know he liked to he was a righty, but would love to dunk with his left hand. I don't know why that happened, but
yes, that's just like a natural feeling of I feel more comfortable going to my left. Throwing it off the glass, whatever, passing it in transition or going down the lane. So I loved seeing that. After that, the Cats started down, went to Gainesville, handled. Talk about feeling tight. Your boy was just getting hit with a couple texts from Bobby Hoops, and we have a new segment that's called Jabroni of the Week. I was going to wait, but our Jabroni, who may or may not be Big Bill, we'll talk about it later, started
Yeah,
to
we'll see.
give me some eyeball emojis from that game. And I'm like, I can't do this. I'm in the middle of going to a showing. I'm getting frustrated. And I left with 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
And in like all caps, here's Bobby Hoops. Bradshaw, baby. Uh-oh. Which I like interpreted that as like, I think that was a good thing. Because
Oh yeah, it was a good thing.
yeah, I didn't have like radio playing. I was just at the moment where I'm like, I'm just gonna sit in silence. And when that final notification comes through, I'll react. Until
Yeah.
then, like I'm not gonna like look at my phone, do that whole thing while just trying to be a good citizen. So they did it.
Kudos to you.
That was where it was a reminder of. There's the corny phrase that Cal loves to do, the whole like Super Bowl talk, whatever. I think I'm just realizing it's more for his guys, and just because he's a showman when the mic's in front of him, to help them realize like you got to understand. Not only is it just conference play, but you're playing at this point teams that are desperate every night.
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest, if they're whoever they play, if it's not Tennessee or Auburn, yeah, I would say if it's outside of Tennessee and Auburn, at this point, it's like if you don't think you're going to get everybody's best shot,
Yeah.
I'd like you
Yeah.
do not want to travel for the game, even
Yeah.
at home. And they've shown it the last couple of years where they're not up for the moment because they play in, like they handled their business against MIDzoo. Everybody knew that was going to happen. It's MIDzoo. And
MIDzoo. Yep.
but even MIDzoo, they let them hang around for a little while. I don't think that in that game they got up more than like 11, 12 points. It was always just kind of hovering that. And that's more defensive stuff I can talk about. So yeah, it just was like Florida's going to give them your best shot, and they did.
Yeah.
And thankfully, Aaron Bradshaw stepped up in the moment. He was non-existent in the first half.
Yeah.
Had a couple fouls, just like you couldn't play him, couldn't rebound, whatever. But second half, boom, double digits, gets over 10 points. I think he had 7 or 8 rebounds. But big moment for him was didn't hesitate, got the ball at the top of the key from 3, boom, hits it. They go up. I think they went up 2 or 3 at that point again.
Yeah, 2 or 3. I think Florida had one bucket late.
Yeah.
That it was more out of hand. I watched this game, and as a non-fan of either team, I was impressed with obviously I hear what you're saying that Kentucky, it's a team against Florida. They should probably have won by more than 2. But bad start in the first half. You're down 8 at halftime. I was impressed with the defensive adjustments that Kentucky made. I think they really forced Florida to drive, and they just out physicaled them big time in the second half because Florida ain't a physical team by any means.
But they want to run with you, but not physical. They'll run, rebound, and that's great. But if you get physical, naturally you'll see some teams kind of back off.
And I just think Kentucky forced Florida to play more their style in the second half.
Yeah.
And obviously they were down a little bit, but outscored them by 10 in the second half. And I thought the adjustments that Cal and the team made were pretty good in that Florida game.
Yeah. And then look, the Kentucky MIDzoo game, I didn't even say anything that week. One, I was a little bit busy with work, and 2, I'm like, I could snooze through this. They essentially played the beer league team that Dennis Gates went and picked up guys from the local rec gym and was just kind of like, we'll take him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Like U6, y'all look good. Just come on, we'll slap you a couple 20s.
I mean, I swear that Nick Honor, one of their starting guard, he looks like he's 35 years old.
He's close to it, and my man just got beer muscles. Now
I'm pretty sure he's a grad transfer, so he is older. But
my man, he's low to the ground, so he's got the force. I wouldn't wrestle him.
No,
I'll tell you that. Like he'll take me down, and I'll be honest, he would probably cross me up sideways, no problem. But I don't play basketball. I just talk hoops. That's all I do. My man will light it up from 3 lane, meaning he just wants to chuck it and just see what happens. And
I respect it.
He went 2 for 8 from 3. It's about right. Went 2 for 10 overall.
Keep shooting, baby.
Yeah. The one guy on their team, Sean East II, he actually out of the Louisville area. He's the best player on the team. Transfer. He had 19 points. A couple other guys, the other senior Carter, he had 20. Look, I think I've just learned with them, the bit will never stop. But East and Carter and Arner, if they're not on, I don't see like what they can do. So whenever MIDzoo and Vandy meet up for loser leaves town or loser leaves conference game, all eyeballs will be on that one. AKA they'll probably be playing each other first game, first night of the SEC tournament, and it will be awesome.
It won't be. It's not a Super Bowl. It's a toilet bowl.
Bullet Bowl, baby, and we're all going to watch and tweet. So I'll jump in at least on maybe what a little bit worries me, and I'm gonna like quickly highlight. So Cats go to College Station, lose a barn burner in overtime, 97-92 against A&M. The thing,
It's a good game.
It was a really good game. Cats would have stole it, to be honest. Like they would have stole that game had they won. A&M deserved to win it. Top 10 team when it comes to rebounding, especially on offensive rebounds. It is criminal that Kentucky let them get at least, I think it was like 25 offensive rebounds.
25 offensive rebounds.
Awful. And the other storyline, which was like, of course, should have known. The two games leading up to the Kentucky game against LSU and Auburn, A&M suffered losses to both of them. But Wade Taylor, which, by the way, A&M was preseason team to win the league, and Wade Taylor was like preseason conference player of the year. So I'm not eliminating what was set up front because there is truth to it. They were returning everybody.
Sure.
Wade Taylor against LSU, 23 points, 3 of 12 from three land, 8 of 20 from field goals. Okay, Radford, their shooting guard, 11 points, 2 of 7 from three land, 4 of 18 field goal. Okay, Auburn, Wade Taylor, 8 points, 1 of 5 from 3, 3 of 7 overall. Radford, 14 points, 1 of 2 from 3, 4 of 13 field goals. So, guess what happens?
They saw Kentucky came to town and they're like, we're going to give it our A game.
So, stat line: Wade Taylor, 31 points, 7 of 24 field goals, 6 of 13 from 3. Radford, 28 points, 11 of 22 field goal, 3 of 6 from 3 land. They handled it.
Those two boys. Whoa.
When they were hitting early, it's like, y'all better lock in. You better lock in or start rebounding. And I'll give Kentucky credit. I think they went up. They were like 45-44 going into halftime. I felt pretty good. It was getting into the second half when Aaron Bradshaw was essentially he was a non-factor the entire game. Got 2 fouls in a minute and a half. So doesn't play the first half. Onyenso, that was the biggest game for him coming off the bench, and he did good. Problem with Onyenso is he's a lot like Oscar Tshiebwe from the last 2 years, which is Kentucky can't really do what they want to do, which is they want to fly up and down the court or at least get the ball moving a lot. They don't. It's not that they can't run set plays; they can. But when Onyenso is in the game, and they're wanting to say like pick and roll action, high screen, Onyenso's guy does not have to follow him. He can follow the driver. So if it's Antonio, it's Rob Dillingham, it doesn't matter. Versus like if you have Aaron Bradshaw, his defender has to make a decision because it's like, well, crap. I can either go with the driver and I give up a 3 with Bradshaw or Trey Mitchell, whoever, or do I stay on my man and know lane's wide open, DJ can get to the rim, foul and 1, or an easy layup. Yeah. Onyenso just doesn't open up the court. It clogs it. It's frustrating. But somehow a very wild ending. Go to OT. Reed Shepherd, kahunas to hit.
Totally.
Free throws to tie the game.
What was it? It was like 3 straight possessions, 9 points for him.
Rob Dillingham,
Dillingham is what I'm talking about.
You're right though. Just like back-to-back threes, and it's like this is the Rob Dillingham roller coaster effect of, oh my good God, this is great, and you're also like, please just go in. And I thought he had it at the end.
The shots just didn't drop in overtime.
0 field goals, and Cal owned it, and I do appreciate him saying he's like, that's on me. I took us away from what we do normally good. Like, good. Because like they all kind of looked like a little lost, which maybe freshman, big moment, whatever. So the things I'm worried about at least. So Cats play Mississippi State tonight. Mississippi State, guess what? Top 10 efficiency and defense. Kentucky's top 10 efficiency and offense. So you get, best against best when it comes to that. Kentucky just easily gives up straight line drives on defense. It's awful. But the only thing that's a little bit saving grace is they average about 90 points a game. So not worried about scoring because there's a bunch of people who can score. It's a little bit like you said, the T-Mac of how do you want it?
How do you want it?
How you want it? It don't matter. The defense part, I'm like, something's got to change. I mean, they're top 50, which is fine. But when we get into like, do you want to be national title level good? You go back over the years and look at stats. Usually teams are top 30 in both offense and defensive efficiency. So I'm really curious on how defense stacks up tonight. We got Tolu Smith, dude's a beast.
He's a beast.
DJ Jeffries, I believe, transfer from Memphis, but old dude knows how to ball. He'll kind of help lead the way, and they obviously proved they can win without Tolu. So now that he's back, it's kind of like, let's see what happens. So I'm very curious about defense. The Texas A&M game is the perfect plan for other teams in the league for scouting purposes. Say, oh, okay, that's how we can beat them is be physical, out rebound them. And from there, you kind of get them out of their normal routine and being able to fly up and down the court. Because if you get defensive rebounds, you're able to do it. If you don't, hard to beat them. So that's my spiel. What do you got at least for if you have any concerns or like maybe something you're wanting different?
Yeah, I think the two things for the Vols that I would love to, one of them I don't know that you can change or improve on, but and that would be the trend for Tennessee. All four of our losses this year have come against teams with big, physical, talented big men. And so, I mean, that's the Zach Edey from Purdue, the biggest man in the world. Hunter Dickinson from Kansas, who is probably going to be a Naismith Player of the Year candidate. Armando Bacot from UNC, who just killed us down low. And then last week against Mississippi State, Tolu Smith. All four of those games, those big guys just, crashed the boards all over us. Tons of free throws. Because to me, the issue there for us is as all the amazing things I said about Jonas Adu and how much better he's gotten and how valuable he is to our team. And he's not a bad defender. He's just not a beefy guy. He's all of 6'11". I think he might even be 7 feet tall, but he's not very big. So he can't. All four of those guys I mentioned are all big dudes who just outworked him, just physically kind of dominate him. And so if he can't really stick with him, then he's probably going to foul him. And then if we're not going to go with Adu, then we bring in Tobe Awaka is a big dude, but he's not very tall. And then after Awaka is two little skinny freshman forwards, Caden Phillips and JP Estrella. So basically it's like we don't have any guys in the front court that can handle anybody like those four players. And to me, that's the thread of the games we've lost have come because we don't have an answer, at least defensively, for these big physical power forward centers. And so, I mean, to me, the only answer is you got to outscore them on the other end. It's got to just be a shootout. And that's where, I mean, connect. And so this kind of goes into my other thing of I'm just a little worried about our depth right now. Because Connect, Ziegler, and Adu have carried us offensively as a big three. Josiah Jordan-James, Santiago Vescovi. I mean, both of those guys, fifth-year seniors, at least for the last month, and Vescovi kind of for the whole year, nothing from them offensively, pretty much. I mean, I was looking at Vescovi's stats. He's down like 5 points per game versus his last 2 years. His 3-point percentage is down like 8% from the last couple of years. He's not doing much, but Barnes can't take either of those guys off the court because while they aren't doing anything offensively, they're still good defensively and they play good defense. Jordan Gainey, who's the transfer in, he's losing minutes every game because he is a total no-show offensively. He gives us nothing. And so I'm just a little worried going forward. These three guys have been amazing for us, but at some point, Connect isn't going to score 39 points or 36 points or 28 points. And we're going to need other people to step up offensively. And I believe they can. I've seen Josiah Jordan-James and Vescovy do it enough. But so that would be my two kind of things that I'm looking for in the future for us.
Oh, there you go. Makes sense. Hey, real quick, you got a dog of the week?
Yes, dog of the week. Friend of the pod, Thomas Cox. Yesterday, like I talked about, we're snowed in here
Yeah.
up in Oak Ridge, and let's just say Thomas had a plumbing emergency at their house the other day, and my guy went out and hiked from his house up to our church that he works at to retrieve a plunger and then sled back down from the church to his home to save the day. And I just the mental image of Thomas, he called it kind of like a gondola, like using the plunger while he was on the sled. It's just
Sure.
an amazing image. When big snow like this, it just kind of turns into the Wild West. Like you just kind of got to do what you got to do, and
Yeah.
that's dog of the week potential. So dog of the week, Thomas Cox, getting it done.
Shout out to you four. You earned it.
Yep.
Mine goes to my kid, C-Bone, our Highness. Yeah, he got a new like inflatable blow up. It's just like an inner tube that he down in the backyard. Probably I lost count after like 30 times in the snow. It was great. Him and one of the little girls in the subdivision, they were going down, and he probably watched the video at least 20 times of him wrecking into the fence and like boom off of the tube in the air, hits this like small tree, everything, and he's just like, dude, that is hysterical. It's just
Dude's
like
rock.
Dude's rock. He
Dude's rock.
didn't. I mean, had a little bruise and everything. He's just like
whatever.
Loved it. Hey, last thing before we land the plane, we weren't joking. This little news segment that we may do it every episode. I don't know. We just want to give a shout out to you, Big Bill Reeser, our area developer. We want to say we love that you're finally in the role that you should be. We love you, but you are our Jabroni of the week. And why is that? Oh, I don't know. He sends me a text after the MIDzoo game, and he says, hey, just rewatch the game, working on my notes for my next podcast. He doesn't have a show. And MIDzoo has great potential, really hung with the Cats, who are probably a bit overrated. I almost threw my phone. I didn't respond for probably, 30 minutes because of work, whatever, I was heated. I just want to say this. Your team is 0 wins in league play. Your coach said, oh, we just lost to the best 0-5 team in America in Jackson State. Your coach is going to be gone at the end of the season. Enjoy your loser leads the league game against Vanderbilt in league play. And when they meet up on Wednesday night, your team stinks. MIDzoo just needs to cut the basketball program. That's all I got. Jabroni of the week. I'm Big POPPA. That's Bobby Hoops. Until next time.
Mic drop. See y'all.